Other than the first vision, section 2 of the Doctrine and Covenants is probably the earliest written revelation that we have from Joseph Smith, where an angel appeared to him and he wrote down the words of what the angel said to him. Notice in the section heading, it is September 21st and it's 1823. This revelation of section 2 are going to be the words that the angel Moroni spoke to 17-year-old Joseph Smith as he was in the upper room of his parents' cabin there in Palmyra, New York, while he was praying to the Lord for forgiveness of his sins. When the angel Moroni appeared to Joseph, he said many things to Joseph Smith and told him many things. One of the most interesting things that Joseph says, though, is take a look here at what Joseph says in Joseph Smith history. After revealing the big thing that there's a book deposited with written upon golden plates, here, as he says, he also does something interesting, tells him about the Urim and Thummim and seers, but then look at this here. After telling me these things, he commenced quoting the prophecies of the Old Testament. Now, I don't know about you, but anytime I started quoting the Old Testament to teenagers, especially 17-year-old boys, they don't listen very much, particularly at night. Now, I'm sure Joseph listened because this was extraordinary circumstances. Nevertheless, Moroni had to appear to him how many times? 3 times that night, and 1 time the next day as well, and repeated the same message over and over. Well, as he quotes some Old Testament prophecies, notice what he says here. He quotes the 3rd chapter of Malachi. He also quoted the 4th or last chapter of the same prophecy. And then this is interesting, though with a little variation from the way it reads in our Bibles. And Moroni is going to give this prophecy of Malachi about the hearts of the fathers and the children, although he's going to put some changes on it. As you study section 2 of the Doctrine and Covenants, I'd invite you to compare it against Malachi 4, 5, and 6. Look at the changes that Moroni makes, the little variation, to use his wording. You'll notice subtle things. Instead of that he'll send Elijah, he says things like, I will reveal unto you the priesthood by the hand of my servant Elijah. Instead of things like at the end that the whole earth would be smitten with a curse if Elijah doesn't come, he says things that like the whole earth would be utterly wasted. There are some important differences, important changes, and there are some foundational doctrines pertaining to the family and to the sealing power that from the time Joseph Smith was 17 years old, Moroni started to teach him about, particularly promises made to the fathers and those promises extending to their children. Good luck as you study section 2 of the Doctrine and Covenants.